Those stories shortly, but the big story this hour, Tamil Nadu politics takes yet another turn. Sasikala has now shown the door. 20 ministers have ousted Sasikala as well as Dinkaran. This is how it all unfolded. A senior minister has come out and said that the AIADMK party caterers, the MLAs and MPs will throw out Dinkaran and his family, thus implying the ousting of the sitting General Secretary Sasikala, who is now behind bars in Bengaluru. It was a unanimous decision by the ministers and the MPs of the Sasikala faction after they met with CM Edapadi Palaniswamy. A section of the ministers revolted against Dinkaran and say they will save the AIADMK party from the clutches of a single family. OPS wanted the family out of the party, and by announcing this, it looks like that condition has actually been met. But so far, amid speculation and rumors, no formal words on any kind of merger between the two factions. The big news is that they will form a party to govern what needs to be going forward. Let's listen in.
Dinakaran சார்ந்த குடும்பத்தை முழுமையான அளவிற்கு ஒதுக்கிவிட்டு கட்சியும் ஆட்சியும் வழிநடத்துங்கள் என்று ஒட்டுமொத்த அனைத்து இந்திய அண்ணா திராவிட முன்னேற்ற கழக தொண்டர்களுடைய விருப்பம், பொதுமக்களுடைய தமிழ்நாட்டு பொதுமக்களுடைய விருப்பம், தலைமை கழக நிர்வாகிகளுடைய விருப்பம், நாடாளுமன்ற உறுப்பினருடைய விருப்பம், சட்டமன்ற உறுப்பினருடைய விருப்பம், மாண்புமிகு அமைச்சர் பெருமக்களுடைய விருப்பம். எனவே அந்த விருப்பத்தின் அடிப்படையில் ஒட்டுமொத்தமாக கலந்து ஆலோசித்து எடுக்கப்பட்ட முடிவுதான் கட்சியும் கழகத்தையும் ஆட்சியும் இனி தினகரன் சார்ந்த டிடிவி தினகரன் சார்ந்த குடும்பத்தை முழுமையான அளவிற்கு ஒதுக்கிவிட்டு எல்லளவும் கட்சியிலும் ஆட்சியிலும் எந்தவித ஒரு தலையீடு இல்லாமல் முழுமையான அளவிற்கு ஒதுக்கிவிட்டு கழகத்தையும் ஆட்சியும் வழிநடத்துவோம் என்கின்ற அளவிற்கு விரிவாக விவாதிக்கப்பட்டு அந்த அடிப்படையிலே முடிவெடுக்கப்பட்டு நாட்டு மக்களுக்கு தெரிவிக்க வேண்டும். அனைத்து இந்திய அண்ணா திராவிட முன்னேற்ற கழக அடிமட்ட தொண்டர்கள், கிளைக்கழக செயலாளர்கள், ஒன்றிய செயலாளர்கள், நகர செயலாளர்கள், பேரூர் செயலாளர்கள் மற்றும் கழகத்துடைய அத்தனை பிரிவை சார்ந்த நிர்வாகிகள் அனைவருக்கும் தெரிவிக்க வேண்டும் என்ற வகையிலே அவருடைய விருப்பம், பொதுமக்களுடைய விருப்பம் இன்றைக்கு நிறைவேற்றப்பட்டிருக்கின்றது.
Certainly big developments coming in this hour. To get perspective on this story, we are now joined from Chennai by a host of guests. We have journalist G.C. Shekhar joining us, as well as senior journalist Bala Subramanian Parasuraman and R.K. Radhakrishnan, associate editor from Frontline. First to you, Shekhar, with regard to this, how surprised are you by this move, and what are we looking forward to with the already shaky political atmosphere in Tamil Nadu?
Yeah, well, we expected the revolt to happen last night. It didn't happen. I think, and then this morning, I think Dinkaran had almost tripped it by saying, and we thought that Palaniswamy, by putting preconditions that the family has to get out of the party, might have short-circuited the merger moves. But apparently, what has happened is behind the scenes, there is a lot has been happening, because what Palaniswamy has been saying in public and what the Edapadi group has been giving us for public consumption, it appears that it's totally different. So they are having totally back-channel communications, and they have all the sides have agreed that Sasikala, Dinakaran, and the rest of the Manargudi family has to leave the AIADMK. They should have absolutely no role in the party. So it is a major shakedown. It is a major political development. And I think both Sasikala and Dinakaran have no one else but to blame themselves, because they showed great greed and tremendous hurry to capture the post of Chief Minister. Sasikala first, when she ousted Palaniswamy and got elected as the legislative party leader, wanted to be stopped by the Supreme Court. And then now Dinakaran, again, he wanted to become MLA in a hurry, contest in a contest even when there was a lot of public resentment against the AIADMK against Sasikala.
All right, we'll come back to G.C. Shekhar in just a moment. We might have lost the connection there, but let me now go to Bala. Bala, what are some of the scenarios that can now play out? Do we expect any kind of official merger possibly, or is that still too early to tell? Talk about some of the scenarios.
Complete, I've seen the OPS camp would have got by surprise completely here, because the move has come from Edapadi Palaniswamy's side, which is very clearly, shown signs of actually wanting the unified AIADMK at any cost. Now, what Jayakumar has just spoke is probably what OPS has been wanting for quite a long time. The party is for cadres. The cadres will decide very clearly what or how the party has to function, how the government has to function. And this is probably a party which is ruled only by the cadres and not people who are influential. And this has been completely answered by Jayakumar a couple of minutes back, where he spoke very clearly in the soundbite which you played now, that we are in sync with what OPS has said, and very, very clearly the cadres have decided or probably indicated us a long time back that the party is with the wrong party is in the wrong hand, and we are probably realigning ourselves. But the problem now is how many ministers, or rather how many MLAs are there with EPS and OPS camp versus how many MLAs are there with the Sasikala camp. Because today evening, 2 MLAs who met CTV Dinakaran did come out and speak openly that at any point in time, OPS cannot do anything with respect to what he's trying to do at this point in time in trying to take Dinakaran out of the party and Sasikala out of the party. That was also said. So it's probably a situation wherein we have to find out who is actually taking, which are the MLAs who are taking the side of Sasikala, and which are the MLAs who are going to take the side of EPS and OPS combined, if we are about to say so at this point in time, because the official talks are yet to start. So as of now, we have to say that until the formal talks begin without any preconditions, if I'm not mistaken, the only condition OPS had was the Sasikala family should be out, which has been met by the EPS camp at this point in time. Rather, I would say now that it is an EPS camp, Edapati Palanisammy camp, and D. Jayakumar made it very, very clear that the CM is also in support of this unification.
All right, let me now go to R.K. Radhakrishnan, is also standing by. We know it was a unanimous decision based on the views from the ministers, the MPs, the party cadres as well. Is the merger likely to happen? Is it all a formality, or what exactly do you think will shape up given this announcement? And how surprised are you by this news?
Yeah, Ashish, let's just go back in time for just a day and look at yesterday when O. Paneerselvam, the most legitimate person in the AIADMK, decided to travel from Chennai to Theni. It was a resultant of a question that at the Chennai airport he said something like, yes, of course I stand for the unification of the AIADMK. That's where the whole thing started. It's not like OPS has not said this before. It's not like Sasikala has not said this before. It's not like Edapati Palanisammy, who is the chief minister, has not said this before. It's not like CTV Dinakaran has not said it before. So that's where the whole thing starts, and it gained a momentum of its own because the media has been playing it from yesterday morning to evening, to the extent that it actually created a panic in the AIADMK Purashi Talavi Amma camp, which basically is the Sasikala camp. And the ministers decided that they will have confabulations among themselves. And they decided that they will go to one person's house, and they decided to have this meeting, Sagamani's house. And there were some 27 ministers there, and some 3-4 ministers decided to congregate at the guy who holds the reins for, used to hold the reins for the cable TV distribution, Udumalai Radhakrishnan's house. So this is how the whole thing started off. And now this, unfortunately, has taken a momentum of its own. And now you have Jayakumar again saying stuff like, we need AIADMK unified, we need a symbol back and stuff like that. But unfortunately, you have to remember that Paneerselvam has only made 2 suggestions in this whole episode, which one is that we throw out Dinakaran and the family, and 2, let us have it, impartial investigation into the death of Jayalalitha. Now, the second part, of course, is acceptable to everyone, and the first part is not acceptable to a minimum of 20 MLAs. Now, this is where the crux comes. Now, if 20 MLAs decide that they are going to remain with Sasikala or Dinakaran and with the family, it's kind of seen over for the AIADMK government. Now, does O. Paneerselvam want to do that? Does he want to fresh elections now? I think that is the way to go for O. Paneerselvam, because as of today, he is the most acceptable face. He is the most popular guy in Tamil Nadu. He wouldn't mind an election. He doesn't have the money though, because Tamil Nadu elections are fought over money, just like anywhere else in Punjab or Uttar Pradesh or any other places. Now, but unfortunately, at this point of time, he has also have to make the decision as to if he needs to run the government for the next 4 years. Now, that is a very crucial decision to make, because if he wants to run the government, he might as well keep this guy who is chief minister in place, and then say that this guy has not been effective after the next 3 years or 2 years or even a year or so, and then come back to power. Too many decisions for O. Paneerselvam to make, too many things that O. Paneerselvam has to take a call on, and that is precisely the problem in Tamil Nadu. O. Paneerselvam is not a guy known to making decisions. Definitely not in the middle of the night. He has to consult astrologers. I hope we'll have something by tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, or by the time I get to Delhi on 20th.
All right, let me bring in GC Shekhar again to get some perspective with regard to this. Just some perspective and some background. None of the factions have been given. None of them have been given the two-leaf symbol, either faction by the Election Commission, and then there was a cause about a split. And then, of course, if there is some sort of a merger that happens, what do we expect to happen between EPS and OPS? Will he still retain the CM position, and could we expect OPS to possibly have another top position? How do you think this will all sort of pan out? Shekhar?
I think OPS, from what I hear, is the OPS has agreed not to stake claim for the Chief Minister's post, and he will be happy being the General Secretary of the party, and he wants his other senior colleague, Mr. Madhusudanan, to be the Presidium Chairman, a post that he used to hold in the past during Jayalalitha's time. So I think he would allow Edappadi Palaniswamy to continue as Chief Minister. And of course, OPS has few of his MLAs, like former Minister Maffoi Pandirajan, and then K. Semalai, senior MLA, and then Shanmugasundaram, another senior MLA, to be part of the new expanded cabinet. I think these are the only demands that he's making. I don't think he'll be part of the cabinet. He doesn't want that. He wants to be the face of the party. He wants to build the party. All said and done, OPS has greater public acceptability than anyone else in the AIADMK today. I think one is because he was identified by Jayalalitha as a standing Chief Minister 2 times in the past, and then he took over as Chief Minister after her death. And then the way he revolted against Sasikala and the way he stopped her from becoming Chief Minister, that has sort of given him a lot of public support, and I'm sure that he wants to make use of that. He wants to build the party in time for the 2019 Lok Sabha elections. All AIADMK MLAs are united in the thinking that there cannot be a midterm election. We still have 4 more years to go, and we need to complete those 4 years only if we stand united and strong, and possibly with the support of the Narendra Modi government in Delhi, that they'll be able to continue this government without any further hiccups. I think that is the overall game plan of both OPS and EPS, and we'll see them coming together in the next couple of days.
And Shekhar, this really seems like everything that Sasikala had hoped for and sort of controlled the party from behind bars is gone for a complete 180, even the appointment of EPS. Let's talk about this day-to-day party. What exactly will that entail? What do we see that functioning as that was decided?
No. As far as the party is concerned, they are very sure that no member of the Sasikala family will have anything to do with it. See, what Jayalalitha did in 2011, she threw out everyone, whereas she took back only Sasikala. Right. So like that, now Jayalalitha had to take back Sasikala because she wanted somebody to run her house, somebody to take care of her. And but Sasikala spoiled her name because of all the secrecy surrounding Jayalalitha's illness, the treatment, and the mystery surrounding her death and all that stuff. So I think the people of Tamil Nadu have not forgiven her for that, especially the women. The women have a lot of resentment towards Sasikala. So I don't think the AIADMK wants to carry that burden along with them. So I think by letting go of Sasikala and Dinakaran, the party is looking at salvation.
All right, let me go to Bala again real quick. Bala, even when we were on the ground in Chennai, Tamil Nadu, we were there both during Jayalalitha's death back in December, as well as during the clash between Sasikala and OPS. A lot of the reaction, the mood on the ground, everybody calling the Sasikala and many of her relatives the Mannargudi Mafia. People really were afraid to speak out and talk about that, but there wasn't the best of reputation. And, now with this ousting, this implied ousting, what does that sort of show in terms of the sentiments of the people of Tamil Nadu? How do you think they are going to react with the AIADMK party moving forward?
See, the reaction with respect to the common people is going to be a welcome reaction because they wanted this to happen. The Mannargudi Mafia had literally tried to hijack the party and wanted to take the power into their own hands and wanted to literally have puppets in the government who will probably listen to their commands and do whatever they needed. That is not going to happen per se. What is going to be a challenge now is we have to see in the assembly how many people, how many MLAs are going to be there in which faction. Now, this is definitely going to play a crucial role because if there are few MLAs, because we have to remember, if there is a single-digit number, we are talking about 5 or 6 MLAs who probably want to go along with, TTV Dinkaran and Sasikala camp, then probably there is an issue with respect to the government actually staying on. This is going to be very, very crucial. The coming days, actually, we might have to, maybe tomorrow itself, we might have a very clear picture on who's there on which side. But as a matter of fact, the Mannargudi Mafia or the Sasikala family, TTV Dinakaran, are not going to be there part of the party or the government is definitely a welcome sign for anyone who has been wanting it because OPS has got a people's support. Remember, OPS was nominated by Jayalalitha twice and he was probably the nominated chief minister by Jayalalitha, and he has always said very clearly that the party is for the cadres, and very, very clearly the party, the cadres' sentiments need to be reflected onto the government as well as on the party's high level also. So probably the wish has come through of what OPS has been demanding for a long time, which is a reflection of the party cadres also per se.
All right, Bala, real quick as well, we're just getting a quick update I want to bring to our viewers. The party leader, Thambi Durai, has in fact said the rival factions of the AIADMK should in fact merge. Real quickly, maybe talk about the pros and the cons, if they do and if they don't, just to put things into perspective with regards to how all of this has played out over the last few weeks, even all the way through the bypolls, which were supposed to happen with regards to the symbol, the two-leaf symbol, which the Election Commission decided not to give to either of those warring factions, giving them a hat and an electric pole instead. But Thambi Durai coming on saying they should merge. Talk about what may play out if they do and if they don't. Bala.
To me?
Absolutely, yes.
Yes. See, there has been very clear indication. Yesterday, Thambi Durai met Edappadi Palaniswamy twice in the Secretariat, and we have all been hearing that every other place there have been a lot of discussions happening. And if we have to ignore all the, sentiments that are being, or probably the signs that are actually coming out of these discussions happening, we were very clearly, trying to understand one point. The point was, is Sasikala going to be out, has to go out of the party, or is DTV Dinakaran is going to go out of the party? Because there were always these rumors over the last few days that, the post, the RK Nagar poll getting postponed, and very, very clearly there was absolute dissent inside TTV Dinakaran. The first sign actually came on April 14, when a huge set of MLAs and ministers did go across to TTV Dinakaran and had their say very clearly and trying to explain their point of view with respect to how the party should run.
Right.
And first when the meeting happened, it was a very, very clear sign from for all of us to understand that all is not well there.
All right, let me go quickly to Nani Shankaran, a political analyst, also joining us on this story. Quite a big development in Tamil Nadu. Some say this was expected. At this point, what is the mood like there, the reaction there on the ground?
I think the merger is inevitable for the AIADMK factions because going by history, in 1989 when they split, it only benefited DMK. So they are very much aware of it. And even now, in the AIADMK elections, in the split, it was very favorable to DMK actually. The elections have been held, DMK had the edge. So they know that the split as factions, they are going to only benefit DMK. So they have to come together inevitably and also get back their two-leaf symbol, which is quite powerful for their election victories. And this is the strategy. And to come together, the major hurdle for them is Sasikala family. So they have to give up on Sasikala family and become a merger. And I have a feeling that BJP is behind the whole thing, along with its central government power, to manipulate this merger as early as possible. Because BJP has two-pronged strategy. One, it does not want DMK to gain back. So it wants to beat DMK again.
Right.
And a split of AIADMK would only benefit DMK.
Let me go back to...
BJP wants to improve its own vote share and seat share. So the best ally for BJP is only AIADMK in Tamil Nadu.
Okay, let me go back to GC Shekhar real quick. We have a few minutes before we wrap this up. Shekhar, my question to you is, over the last few weeks, we've seen the alleged, cash for votes, all of that leading up to those bypolls. We also saw the alleged bribery scandal involving Dinkaran, who denied all of that. How much do you think all of that played a role into this ousting that led up to this? Do you think that was sort of the final straw? Because we've heard OPS say that in the past before, that no one family should control the AIADMK party. And it seems like a domino effect, a series of things that led to this. To what extent do you think all of that led to this decision?
Well, definitely the cash for vote scam played a major role in this, because that was the trigger for the present crisis, which led to the undoing of Dinkaran. Because the Sasikala family has always shown and proved that with money power and muscle power, they can achieve anything in Tamil Nadu politics. And that is what Dinakaran was hoping to do in the AIADMK by-election. Though he was trailing a distant third, he was hoping that with a last-minute cash surge, he'd be able to capture the seat, at least come second, overtake O Paneerselvam and show that he's the real AIADMK. But thankfully, the income tax raid on his protege, the health minister Vijay Bhaskar, by the income tax people, and then the election commission cancelling the bypoll totally undermined Dinakaran's position within the party. It gave a very bad name to the party. Plus the document that was taken up from Vijay Bhaskar's house, which showed how the chief ministers and other ministers were used to distribute cash.
Right.
I think that sort of incriminating evidence has never come up in the past, and that proved to be the undoing of Dinakaran. And the ministers were all facing the threat of a CBI inquiry, which the election commission wanted to hold.
All right.
I think that also put a lot of fear into them. They wanted initially on Friday when they met Dinakaran, they wanted Vijay Bhaskar to be dropped from the ministry, but he refused. That is how the whole crisis snowballed.
The whole crisis, it's all gone in.
Vijay Bhaskar, and then Dinakaran said no, he will not go.
Right.
And then the minister said that if he does not go, then you have to go as well. I think that is how the whole thing
sort of cascaded into leading to this big decision. I'm actually going real quickly to Revathi Rajivan standing by in Chennai. Revathi, you've been tracking this story. What is the mood right now? I understand there could be some comments coming in shortly. Real quickly, give us an update. Revathi?
Well, Arshad, when Minister Jayakumar clearly mentioned that they want Sasikala and Dinakaran out of the party, we are yet to see what kind of conditions that the EPS camp is agreeing to follow. Because remember, O Paneerselvam had put out 3 conditions. 1, Sasikala should be out of the party. 2, Dinakaran should also be out of the party. And 3rd, a probe into the death of former Chief Minister Jayalalitha. Now, even if the first 2 conditions are met, there are differences of opinion when it comes to the 3rd condition, whether or not there should be a probe into the death of former Chief Minister Jayalalitha. Now, throughout the day, when we saw the developments, when we saw what the leaders had to say, it was clear that this 3rd condition was a deal breaker when it came to merging of the 2 camps. So now we have to wait and see whether the discussions between the EPS and OPS camps will have this condition still there. Right. And if the EPS camp, the government in power, will want to say yes to the condition that the OPS will put forward. Because remember, the government had repeatedly said that there is nothing wrong, there is no foul play in the death of former Chief Minister Jayalalitha. So now if they have to meet the condition put forward by O. Paneerselvam, it would be contradicting their own statement, and they would have to go ahead and against their will say yes to a probe into Jayalalitha's death as well.
All right, Revathi, lots of updates there you're tracking for us. We appreciate that, as well as to all of our guests, Mr. Shekhar, Bala and R.K. Radhakrishnan. Unfortunately, we are out of time here on WION. Of course, we'll continue to track this story. I'm Archit Seshadri. Thanks so much for watching WION. Have a good night.